first YouTube video. My name's Hal Davis, and today I'm going to be talking about being in a rut and basically how to get out of a stagnant position in your life. For example, you're in school or college, or not in school or college, you dropped out, and you're choosing what to do next for your life because it's such a big decision. For example, university or an apprenticeship or something a bit different. For example, what I want to do, which is coaching, online coaching, fitness stuff. And for me, starting a social media account has been hard. I'm not used to it. I'm not used to posting. And I'm not used to opening myself up to embarrassment or shame. Also, I think in the opposite, leaving yourself in a position where you're not making that decision is 10 times, if not 100 times worse. This is because you'll start to think of other things to distract yourself from choosing a path that is risky. At the end of the day, a big decision is a big risk. And if you don't start to make small steps towards it, it doesn't make it any easier. And in your brain, you see the long term, all the hardships and obstacles that you're going to come across while following through with that plan. And so it makes it so much harder. It's like, say you have an exam, and 2 days before the exam, you haven't revised, and you're thinking in your head, oh, I'm going to have to do all of this revision. I'm not going to do it. I can't be bothered to do it. And at the end of the day, by starting the revision, you could do a worksheet or something, and that chips away at it. And then all of a sudden you've done 5 worksheets. You're like, okay, well, the goal's looking a little bit smaller now. I could definitely do that. I could achieve that. And by not starting, you're making it harder and harder for yourself, because in your head there is a deadline, there is an end point, whether it's the exam, whether it's when you're expected by your parents to move out, to go to uni, all of these things, there's a deadline to everything. Even if you don't have an exact pinpointed date, there is a point where you're going to have to start doing something, and delaying it. And I don't like the word procrastination, but it is that. It is whatever that means. You're delaying it and you're hiding the decision from yourself through whatever it could be. Video games, drugs, sex, anything, porn, whatever you want. And so I think in opposition to that, putting yourself in scenarios where you're open to the fear and confronting the fear of the unknown, because at the end of the day, your brain fears the unknown. And you always say, as soon as you get into a scenario which you were scared of, you're like, well, it's not nearly as scary as I thought it was going to be, because you've overcome that and you realise you're not going to die. And your brain's like, oh, okay, it's fine. And by continuously putting yourself in scenarios where you're scared and you've had to overcome some kind of fear or some kind of pain, anything, hardship in general, once you get more and more used to those scenarios, your brain has evidence, and that's what builds confidence. Because in your brain then, there's no cloudiness to what could happen. You have every single scenario that could potentially happen in a situation, and then you're not afraid anymore. It works for literally anything in life, and by making this decision, I'm using myself as an example, because I've recently made, I wouldn't say it's a massive decision, I'm not going to blow smoke up my own arse, but for me, it was quite scary, and I overcome that fear, and there's still parts where I'm unknowing, like going back to school, seeing what people think of it, and that has kind of belittled my confidence a bit. But at the same time, if I stop now, what was the point in starting in the first place? I'm just disrespecting and undermining the work I put in only 2 weeks ago. There's no point in me giving up so early. So I think no matter what you're going through, mentally, physically, be consistent. Keep putting yourself in this, even if it's not that uncomfortable anymore and you just can't be bothered. Keep doing it, because otherwise you'll lose practice. It's like anything, you'll lose practice and then it becomes a big goal again. It's like, how would I put it into like a metaphor? It's like you're winding up one of those like cars. You have like a little toy car that you wind up and it speeds off. You're just winding it down less and less and it's going less and less distance. It's a random example, but I guess it does the job. I think also having a balanced life, which is what so many preach nowadays. For example, doing well in school, doing well in sports, doing well in whatever academic or physical passions you have. I believe by not focusing on one and trying to space out all your efforts across different things, you're setting yourself up for failure. Don't get me wrong, there are aspects which should come above others, and those aspects could be, for me, social, physical, and I'm going to say business. I don't run a business yet, but what I want to be able to do is business, social, physical. I go to the gym, I go out with friends, and I work on something that I'm passionate about. Those three things for me is the most important things, and I'm going to always prioritize those over other things. School, for me, I've never liked school. Some people like school, fair to them. School I used to like. I did well on my GCSEs, A-levels. I haven't put enough effort in from the beginning of the year to get that kind of like reward to revision ratio where I actually feel good about revision. So I personally struggle with it a lot. And you could say, well, there you go. You're kind of a hypocrite telling people to focus on things when you're not. But I don't see school taking me anywhere, really. I'm going to, for example, go to uni, choose something I'm not really that passionate about. I don't have the grades to really get anything above that, and therefore get a useless degree and go on to get a job that I'm also not passionate about, and then eventually quit that, work a 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. I want to try something, and it is a bit of a risk short term. Long term, it may have loads of benefits, and if all else fails, I would end up in the same position. So it's worth a try, I think. Thank you for watching. If I have anything else to add, I'll edit it onto it. But that's me. That's me done. Thank you.